Hello everybody and welcome to the next video of the Cowardly Dog Howloween Marathon. Today we're going to be talking about the last 3 episodes of Season 3, which are Doom of Doom, Snowman's Revenge, The Quilt Club, Swindlin Wind, King of Flan, and Courage on the Volcano. Alright, the Doom of Doom is quite an interesting episode. So, this is more or less an episode about them wanting food, and Eustace wants food, but instead of going out to the grocery store and buying them, he wants it free. So they look at this flyer for free food. Now the free food is experimental, and so what they do, what happens is they call upon this place that gives them a dome. The Mega Veg dome, I guess you could call. And what the Mega Veg is this dome is they put it over the house that they're in. And so when they put it there up, they kind of seal them in to keep them from going out. What happens next is they plant the seeds and then activate the dome. Now things seem fine, the dome causes a storm and then the seeds grow. But there's something wrong, because when they go to pick the food, they kind of get more than what they bargained for. Because the food starts having weird noises, like the tomatoes sound like bees. And the peas tried to get a hold of Courage. So what happens then is they go inside to cook the vegetables, and obviously the vegetables come to life. And so Courage tries everything. And, he gets a hold of one that gets a hold of Muriel, and the only way to get out there is get the olive oil all over it and make it slip through. So, Eustace wanted more food after this. Boiling the food, takes his boot off and starts smelling it. He starts smelling it, and then it buys its boot off. So Kurt tosses it out, and the plant follows him. Then a head of lettuce. Actually, by the way, a head of lettuce actually eats Eustace. Well, tries to eat him, and eventually, they go back outside, and Courage decides to go in and hit the button a couple times. First there's storm, then it's rain, and then it's finally snow, which freezes them over. But then it defrosts everything. So what happens after that? He finds out these things are made of animals. Hornets, piranhas, and I don't remember the other one, but it is made of those things. So, Courage I don't remember what happens, but he makes all the food explode, and what happens then is Eustace eats it all. I don't remember what happens, but something does it. Alright, so the next episode is the Quilt Club. Now, the Quilt Club is a weird episode and a creepy episode at the same time. I think that if Doug Walker wants to talk more about these episodes, he should watch the Quilt Club. This episode it starts with Eustace, Muriel, and Courage at this quilt shop. And they have a quilt club. This quilt club is for members only. So Yo-Yo wants in, and they want her to basically give up everything. So the first thing she does, she shows them a picture of a um, quilt that she made of Eustace as a baby. And they're like, no. So she goes back out and makes another quilt. They still don't want to give her it. And the last time and of course this is because she doesn't want to leave her husband. The third and final time, she brings along this, I guess you could say some kind of, one time it's like a car, another time it's like a chair, and then finally they accept her and they tell her to sew this icon, this little figure into a quilt. And so Courage goes to show this quilt to this computer, which tells him that this has gone back through the ages. So it also shows the lady from before. It, by the way, is a two-headed lady. And by the way, Eustace has an allergy to his quilt. So eventually, she makes it, and then they start stitching her into the quilt. And so Guards decides that it's time to stop this and takes the quilt memories to them. And it's too late. He's already in there. And so he starts stitching all the memories into the quilt. From Eustace to him. And eventually the quilt coughs Yo-Yo back up. And by the way, they are stitched, which is, I guess you could call them. And they get sucked into the quilt. Sucked into this quilt. And by the way, all the figures from in this episode are in the memories are seen during it. So Eustace, comes up and he starts sneezing. Curtis hands him the piece of quilt that has him in it, and he blows his nose into it. Alright, next episode is Swindling Wind. This is an episode that features Shirley the medium. And so the episode begins with them being at I guess some kind of fair or something, and they're buying stuff. And Muriel gets something for Eustace, and Eustace gets something for his truck. Of course, he sees that Sully the medium is there, and she selling something to him. So he says $5, and Eustace gets to put it down to $4. And so he tells her that he'll give her the deed to his oil well. And what happens next, after she accepts, she finds out that he swindled them. I don't know why she thinks that they both swindled her. I don't know. But she basically puts a spell on them where they swindle each other. So when they drive home and they start swindling each other. First, Muriel swindles Eustace out of a cupcake that she had baked by playing, the cell game. And she eats and Eustace opens up all three of them only to find out she eats that one. And then he swindles her into he starts giving her tea. How's that swindling her? I'll tell you about in a minute. So what happens? He's drinking the tea, and she's all out, and he says, "I'm all out of tea. I gotta make some more." and he has to go use the bathroom. So what happens next is he comes to the bathroom, and he's got a toll in place, and he's charging $3 and her chair to use the bathroom. Of course, after that, she starts playing another game where she rolls the dice, and if it rolls on a number, they win something. So he bets his TV, and one side of the dice says loser on it. So when she rolls it, he loses his TV, which also means that she swindled it out of him. Of course, Curtis goes back to Shirley to give it back, and she goes, I can't give him back what you swindled will not reverse the spell. And so she shows this one couple, along with the couple that she, along with Muriel Eustace, who said that they didn't share. But she decides to reverse the spell because they so care for each other. And sorry, I watched the Chiefs game, by the way. And they just scored, baby! Anyway, back to the episode. I have on mute, by the way. That's why you can't hear it. But, see, he goes back and, oh, by the way, there's a wood tick on the edge of Muriel's toe. So, during the whole episode, it's bugging her, and, he wipes, it was some kind of ointment or something. Anyway, he gets back, and he shows Eustace, because both him and Muriel have no clothes at all, except for a barrel and some barrels. So, Chris shows Eustace the one thing she has left, and that is the wood tick. And he shows it, he takes it from her, and Shirley sees this as him taking it from her. And she reverses the spell. At the end of the episode, they tell Muriel tells him about swindling, and Eustace makes a bet with the tick. If he can win a game of cards, I think it's poker, he can move up to his lobe. But if Eustace wins, he moves out. And of course, the wood tick wins. Alright, the next episode is King of Flan. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I forgot. Okay, we're going to do this now. Revenge of the Snowman. I forgot about this one, but just remember, this is an episode part of season 3. So Revenge of the Snowman is another episode that is interesting. So remember the Snowman for season 1? He's back. But he's not here to get the melting gene, the non-melting gene of the humans. He is now there to get to be in a warmer climate. Because the North Pole has started to melt. I'm sorry, like I said, I know I've skipped this one, but we're doing it now. So, he goes to nowhere to make a West Pole. Using what he calls the cold finger. And the cold finger is it's kind of like Goldfinger, like the Midas touch, if you will, where anything he touches turns cold. So, what happens next is he goes to nowhere and he decides to freeze over the place by making a cloud appear above the heads. It is interesting. So he tells Eustace to go up on top to check and make sure the sun is blocked out, while Muriel is playing the, I don't know what they call that thing, and Courage makes snow cones. Eventually, everything freezes over, and I'm telling you right now, the Snowman is a really good singer. And of course, eventually he tells him that he just wants to have friends because, well, all his friends have melted, and all because of one thing: the ozone. There's a hole in ozone layer. So what happens next is Courage, after defrosting himself, comes up and it goes to the. By the way, Eustace and Muriel are both frozen, and Courage goes to the North Pole to fix the hole in the ozone layer. Don't ask me how this works. Again, it's just like in that one episode. It's a cartoon. It's not supposed to make sense. So he sews it up, and then eventually everything returns to normal, and Courage goes back and sews him a postcard, and Ivana is there. And they both go home. Of course, Eustace wonders where his pants are, and one of them is as a hat. Okay, the next episode is King of Flan. We're back on track now. I promise. So King of Flan is an interesting episode, like any other episode. In this episode, at the beginning of the episode, they are all watching a love story, except for Eustace, who don't want to watch a love story. And a commercial comes on after the movie is over with. And it's this guy who wants everybody to buy Flan to see Flan. A bunch of goop. And what happens is he hypnotizes them and makes them buy it. So what happens is Eustace, Muriel, and Courage go out to buy this stuff. I don't know. I've never really been into Flan, by the way. So they take the van and they eat all the Flan, of course. And Courage goes to where this King of Flan is, and he's broadcasting this whole thing from an airwave. Sorry. And he decides, and Courage does get hypnotized, but he refuses to basically believe it, and they start getting into a fight, and King of Flan decides to throw Flan at him. Eventually they get to the top of the roof, and he throws Flan at him, only for him to Courage to spit up on him, which makes him fall 3 stories into this place, and he gets hypnotized by his own face. And Courage gets on the TV and tells him Flan is bad, and they are hypnotized. And then the episode ends with him and King of Flan sitting there eating flan. Alright, the last episode we're going to talk about is Courage Under Volcano. So Courage Under the Volcano is basically this episode about... The episode begins with them being on vacation, and and these bunch of islanders want them to be there. And the reason why is they're going to sacrifice Muriel. So, they take him up. They cross land, obviously, on purpose, and they take him up to the islanders take him up to the top of the volcano. They dress Muriel in this skirt and headdress and give Eustace a coconut. The daughter does anyway. And what happens next is they start the sacrifice tradition, and by basically trying to dump Muriel into the volcano, and the guy goes, "I cannot stop this." Oh, and he goes, "You want to talk to the volcano god?" So Courage goes in. First he drops a bunch of acid. It doesn't work, and then he goes down to the bottom of the volcano, and guess what? There's no volcano god. It's just a guy who wants to turn the volcano, this island, into a ski resort. And so Courage tells him the whole spiel about how they're going to take Muriel, make her a sacrifice. And he's like, "Well, I guess I'm going to go at the volcano whole place." And he goes, they resort after him. So, Courage takes... by the way, Courage has to convince him not to do so before this boar eats all the pies. But it's too late, and they throw her in. And then, what happens next is Courage goes back up and goes, "You angered volcano god." And then he tells him, "We survived this? Sorry. I tattooed your face." And they chase after this guy. They see the guy who, by the way, hits a fence, and Courage goes up to him and turns on the machine, which takes the lava retreat back into the volcano with the guy. And the episode ends with they're going back home, but there's a real volcano god, and he tells them that and he just tosses the guy back out. Alright, so that is the end of the season 3. Tomorrow, we're going to continue on with season 4. With A Beaver's Tail, The Nutcracker, Rumpelstiltskin, House Calls, and The Crack Balloon. Like, comment, subscribe, here. I'll see you guys tomorrow with the beginning of the final season, season 4.